Hello guys, so now we are having second episode of our interview with Davinci Jeremy, who is crypto YouTuber and early Bitcoin adopter.
Yeah, it's great to be here. Thanks.
Yeah, so let's continue our conversation. And now there are a lot of DeFi projects, and still we see a lot of rug pulls. And with recent news with rugged Mark Cuban, and now he is calling for regulations. What do you think about all this situation?
Well, regulations is just a way for the rich to make sure that they get to rob everybody else, and you have to follow the rules, right? And you can't cheat and lie and cheat, but they can. I don't like regulations because it's basically, think about this, right? The Federal Reserve is completely regulated, right? Because if they printed a bunch of money, which they are doing, anyways. But if they just print it and give it to their friends, right? Which they, again, but really just put it in their own personal pockets, right? So they basically can't. They have like certain rules of when they can print and certain regulations. But if there's no regulations, if it's open season, they would actually destroy the currency a lot faster. So these regulations are just to prevent systems from being actually strong, right? Because when you have just regulations, you're just having the government decide, hey, you know what, these are the rules, and then they just change the rules slowly. So for example, the Federal Reserve was first told that they couldn't buy treasury bonds, and today they can, because without that, the system would collapse. So the rules will always change when they have these regulations written by government. When you have hard rules that Bitcoin is set up to do, where there's a hard 21 million cap and hard systems that cannot be changed, there's nobody that can point a gun. Nobody can say, no, wait a minute, this is emergency. We can change it. We got to change it, or else we're all going to die. No, right? We don't change the law of gravity just because it's inconvenient. so yeah, that's why I don't agree with regulations, because this is just a way for certain people to have power, and if they need the regulations changed, they can.
Yeah, and now we see as well that the first country adopted Bitcoin as legal tender, El Salvador. What is the potential for the industry?
Well, I mean, this is early in the stage, right? I couldn't believe that that El Salvador. If you do a Hey Siri, what's the currency of El Salvador?
Usually,
it's a U.S. dollar and Bitcoin, and you're like, wow, this is real. But it's kind of early for them, and it's kind of dangerous for countries for this, because the U.S. dollar and the Federal Reserve system is a key system that without it the U.S. would crumble. So I wouldn't be surprised if the CIA comes knocking on their door sometimes. So but yeah, it's too soon, if in my opinion, and because they can't really you can't effectively use it as well for a unit of account. And what I mean by unit of account is like, hey, you know what, I'm going to pay you a specific hard number of Bitcoins over time, like every month or something like that. And so it's really difficult to use it directly as a currency. It's possible to accept it, but you're always going to price it probably against another currency like the US dollar. For example, if somebody wants to buy some goods from you, you'd actually say, okay, well, it's actually priced in dollars, but you're going to pay me in Bitcoin, and I'm going to convert it. So it's not
it's
the
like
same.
You're paying me $10 per copy. Oh, now it's 8. Oh, no, it's 16.
Exactly. It wouldn't work, yeah.
Yeah, and we as well saw that just around a week ago there was a news about Bitcoin upgrade, Taproot. Can you tell our audience what is it, and what potential does it have for investors, for Bitcoin?
Well, yes, Taproot and Schnorr signatures. These are critical additions to Bitcoin because of what they're doing when they talk about green coins. You've heard it, right, where they say, oh, you don't want to buy Bitcoin because you might have those coins that have been created by miners who use coal energy. Those are bad coins, right? And you're like, okay, You know what? I don't want to use a US dollar that has cocaine on it. Like, come on, man. They all the $100 bills got traces of cocaine on them. And yet, if they did that, right, there'd be two valuations for the money, and so they can't have that. That's called fungibility, destroying the fungibility. And that's what they plan to. This is what they were trying to do: destroy the fungibility of Bitcoin, so that you'd have two separate valuations for coins that are basically the same. Well, Taproot and Schnorr signatures makes all that makes that all go away, because they can aggregate a bunch of transactions, making it impossible for you to determine that these bad coins that they call bad coins went to a specific direction, to a specific account. So it has, you can aggregate all the transactions all together, a whole bunch of transactions. You just don't know which one went to which person, and so it makes it they can't destroy the fungibility, and makes it easier for us to continue to transact without the government saying it's a bad coin, that's a good coin. Also, it makes it also difficult for the government to determine, okay, wait a minute, that's a Lightning Network transaction, and that's a corporate transaction, and I know that's from your corporation, because it's difficult to see the complex inner workings of like, for example, a multi-signature. One of the cool things that Bitcoin has is that you could have more than one person sign for a transaction, but it's only up to a certain number. Like, I think it was like 32, but don't quote me on that. But now with Schnorr signatures, it can be hundreds of people, and it will always look like just one person actually signed, because a Schnorr signature can be aggregated, meaning added together to make only one signature. So this sure reduces the amount of data that goes into the blockchain. That means also lower fees in the future with Taproot and Schnorr.
So will it be helpful for utility of Bitcoin and for the use as payment?
Definitely, because it does a lot of things, right? And it also reduces the space in the blockchain. So it's a huge thing, and I'm looking forward to it coming through. But keep in mind, in November, when it's finally available for actual use, because right now it's just going to be activated so that all miners can eventually get to the point where they can actually have the software installed and ready to go, so that on the November, if you write an application that uses Taproot and Schnorr, it will be able to put into a block. Right now, it's not possible, only on the testnet. But once that happens, then it's going to take a while for software to be developed and released to the public that uses it. But it will happen.
And you mentioned the issue of green mining, and so what is your opinion how these tweets of Elon Musk manipulate the market, whether they really manipulate it, and whether we can have green mining in future? Like, for example, El Salvador proposed to use the volcanoes for mining, or renewable energy companies as well proposed to use the grids for mining.
Yeah, when I first heard this was back with Mr. Wonderful on the news, and I knew that this was an agenda to destroy the fungibility of Bitcoin. And yeah, they started pushing this agenda heavily. And I can't read the mind of Elon Musk. I'm hoping that he saw this and got out in front of this, and he was not like told to do this. I'm hoping that we'll never know. But it was clear that this is agenda to destroy fungibility and destroy credibility of Bitcoin, and to slow down the adoption from the general public to buying Bitcoin, because most people, when they buy, they're buying Bitcoin because price go up. Yeah. And they don't know what they've got. They really don't understand that this is going to be money. And when I say that, it doesn't click. When it doesn't really quite understand with people. Well, let me explain. Right, if somebody said, hey, you know what, I'm going to invent, I don't know, something like the new spaceship that everybody could fly on across the universe, right? You'd think, wow, and you realize that he's going to be able to pull it off, right? And you believe that, so you invest in him and building a spaceship, and he does produce a spaceship, and everybody's happy because everybody can go flying around in space. But he just produced one good, right? And you're thinking, well, that's millions of dollars. That's just one good. Now think about all the other goods that are created, cars, clothing, perfume, all the different things, or cell phones, everything, right? Those are all valuable items. But the most valuable item happens to be money, which happens to be 50% of everything that exists on the planet. So all assets is equal to all 50% of 50% of all money that exists. So if Bitcoin was to become money, that means it has to have a valuation of 50% of everything. So wouldn't that be a better asset to invest in than anything else ever? Yes.
So do you perceive Bitcoin as money or more like financial instrument?
The thing is, right now, it's working to become money. And what you're doing is you're speculating on that fact, right? So buying it now, right, and holding it for when it is money is speculating that it will be money. I do believe that's going to be the case, but right now it's just a vehicle for investment. And, we experiment with it as being money, because I accept Bitcoin for my Telegram group, right? If you head over to DavinciJ15.com, you can purchase access to my Telegram group, where you can be a part of my trade signals, also the little lady strategy, and I can show you everything that I'm buying in crypto. So, and you pay in what's it called, Bitcoin directly, yeah. And I have it fixed price in Bitcoin. So.
Yes, it's a lot of people in crypto do.
Yeah.
And currently we see as well boom in NFTs. What do you think about NFTs? Do you think potential, and what are the biggest use cases for you for NFTs?
Well, NFTs, there's so many use cases for NFTs, it's not funny. The first, and to guess at which one's the biggest use case is really a fool's game, because this thing has so much availability for artists and of all types. Not only just, I'm talking about like art that we have back here, or art as in statues, or artwork music, but also sporting events, right? Everybody loves watching a sport event, and they like to capture a specific moment. Imagine being able to buy a moment at a sporting event. That's going to be huge. I think I might even purchase, if once that becomes available, I might purchase a couple of sport event moments myself. I think that's going to be amazing new development once NFT comes out. And the beautiful thing about NFTs is that you can have them programmed so that the artist actually continues to get revenue even long after they've sold that particular asset. Great. So it's really great.
And do you have any NFTs currently?
Well, I've been gifted quite a few NFTs, but I haven't really gone out and purchased my own yet.
So you just give them and see how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and let's as well talk about Bitcoin price. So what are your predictions, short term, mid term, and long term? Because now it seems everybody has some kind of bearish mood.
Yeah, I think definitely we're going to be above 100,000 by the end of the year. There's no other way, because the Federal Reserve is committed to printing money. We're committed to having inflation of 25%. And so that means with that increasing supply of money, corporations and individuals are noticing the high inflation, and they're going to want to do something about it. And they're going to be coming to Bitcoin because of its limited supply. It's fixed supply that cannot be changed. They're coming, and they're going to be coming in a big way. And so it's going to be, I think 100K is basically a low number at the end of this cycle. I think we're going to see, we might even see Bitcoin hit $1.2 million at the end of this cycle.
So when is the end of this cycle?
Well, I think we're going to have probably a little bit of an extended cycle, probably into the 2022, either January or February, probably as late as March.
And your short-term prediction? Because now it seems there are a lot of shorts on Bitcoin.
That is short-term. Wow! This generation, this younger generation, thinks like less than a year is long-term. That's ridiculous! Absolutely ridiculous!
Wow, that is mid-term.
Oh, short term, right? We're still stuck in a range right now between 40,000 and 30,000. If we break the 30,000, we head down to probably 20K. If we break the 40,000, 41 approximately, then we're heading to 50K and above. We have to wait and see, because it will have to retest the 41, and then if it bounces off of that, then we can go a lot higher.
So basically, we now have a good entry point for Bitcoin, for cryptocurrencies. And Davinci told in 2013 to everybody to buy Bitcoin at least worth $1. Now, unfortunately, we can't do that, but everybody should have at least some satoshis in their portfolio. So buy Bitcoin now. Like this video, subscribe to our channel, and check out Davinci's channel as well. There is a lot of useful information there.
Yes, DavinciJ15. Thank you.